Okay, who are you?
Hi, I'm Carlo Brandelli, and this is Wilcznska. And this work is bound one in a liminal possibility, and it's about connection and energy, and it's a work without time. It's in between, and perhaps just to one side of what is possible. The first few pieces that you see are Lotus Shoes, and these are worn Lotus Shoes. Eva, why don't you talk about those a little bit more?
So these were obviously worn by women in China with bound feet, and these are antiques from the Qing dynasty, the last dynasty where it was still legal practice. And for them, it was a status of beauty. The smaller the foot, the more desirable and erotic the woman. So we wanted to kind of take this fragility and turn it something in between. So on the soles, I hand painted using Renaissance techniques and my eyelash with oil paint. So the idea being that as you walk, the paint wears away and disappears to leave just a trace of her journey, the woman who once wore these shoes.
These are handmade porcelain dolls, and they're wrapped in latex. There's no fastenings, there's no seams. It's just the tension between the latex that holds the porcelain. And these broken objects symbolize a little bit this character, but it's not directly tied to it. There is a feeling here of being broken or something that is negative, but this part of the work is very much rooted in the past. Then as we move to this area, and that part of the work was called bound, and this part of the work is called liminal. Hence this is why bound one in a liminal possibility.
Is it a sexual... This piece, what does it represent?
This is, I suppose, if the first part of bound was about negativity and something that was broken, this is an opportunity to reorder the way of things.
Mm-hmm. And is this piece representing something?
Well, all the components carry energy. So this is a harmonization plate, and this is used in radionics, in healing. So we design this, and there are no rules on the symmetry and the geometry. It just has to be one continuous line coming to a point. So this is used as a conductor of vibration, if you like. Then all these little objects are pendulums and paramagnets, and these are made in brass, and then they're coated in gold. And again, these little pieces come apart, and they can carry components or parts of someone dear to you, things like hair, objects of that nature.
Mm-hmm. So kind of living in another century.
If you like. There is the past, there is now, and then there is an unknown future. Mm-hmm. So this idea of the word liminal, well, Eva, you came up with liminal.
Liminal essentially represents that plane in between. And Carlo, when we were making the work, he just kept saying over and over, we live our futures first.
Mm-hmm, I like that.
Yeah, that's the only way. So all the objects and the pieces, I mean, this isn't actually, people are assuming it's a female figure, but we're just calling it an angelus. So it has no feet. And obviously the porcelain is shaped by hand. And then there are little holes where some people believe energy can enter the body. So we're allowing whoever views the work, and all the viewings are one-on-one, to actually touch the objects. It's very rare you get to sit with the artists and actually handle the objects, because they all carry energy. Mm-hmm. Obviously this is made in a scale of 1 in 6, so it fits in the human hand, so you get a real idea of a sense of a person from that. And again, the latex here is not glued or seamed, it's all just folded and seamed with the tension. Same with the little heads. And then this is the symbol of the work, which is in bronze. This is a photographic technique called photo etching, which is etched into a bronze plate. And this was the symbol that Eva drew when we were thinking about making the work of connection. And some people see two hands joining together, some people see a female figure on her side. but we use this in various scales and dimensions to sort of create a language.
Feels like a current to me.
Yeah, possibly vibrations really strong.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good. This was another very beautiful one as well. And again, this was used as a pendulum. So we had this made and coated in gold because gold is the ultimate transmitter.
Mhm.
And again, this opens up and can be used to put a sample of something or someone inside if you wish.
And do people carry these around, or you just have them like?
Well, they're in a containment. This is a containment box,
Mhm.
and the foam is actually foam that it's used to make prosthetic limbs.
Mhm. Yeah, you could feel something like that.
Yeah, because there has to be this strong connection between the human form and this idea of some kind of unknown texture or materiality, which is beyond what we understand. So what we're trying to suggest here is that there are various vibrations that we all feel, and maybe we've stopped sensing them very strongly. And by producing this set of objects, which seem game-like, it allows you to impose your intention on what you are feeling.
And how did you two meet?
We met through Alexander McQueen Foundation
Mhm.
and started to work together. But my background is fashion and design, and ever trained at Beaux Arts in Paris here as a painter.
How's that why you chose this? And Oscar Wilde, I guess.
Of course.
And the sound which you're hearing as well, it's a vibration of a letter read out by my spoken voice, imagined from the suitor to this woman to be. And we reverberated the sound of the human voice against 110 hertz, which is the human vibration. So as soon as the viewer comes into the room, there's already a certain kind of tuning put into play as we all connect.
We're trying to suggest subtler human rhythms of existence and how to incorporate those into objects and art to make people feel again. You know, this idea of interaction. Of course, the objects are very beautiful because we're both interested in ideas of beauty. But beyond that, we wanted this sense of people understanding how to feel again. And it's very rare you can go to see any kind of show or presentation and the artist will hand you the actual objects to feel in your own hand. But that's the only way that you can directly connect with all these energies.
Great. And ultimately, you're in galleries, or where's your...
No, we deliberately decided not to think about a gallery to begin with. I mean, we finished the work, we've been working on this for about a year, and we finished the items just recently. We thought we're just going to pick some unusual places in which to do the work and then just invite 20 or so people every evening, because each performance is only 5 or 6 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to experience it by yourself and the atmosphere has to be right. So finding unusual locations, and this one was perfect for Paris. We did one in London last week as well, to an
With
invited
John Paul
audience.
was there.
That's right, yeah. Some
And-
creative sector, some interesting people, but we're not sure how a gallery would perceive this.
Mhm.
We're working in a different way.
Great. Very interesting. And use the fabric on your dresses is...
So this is an antique Chinese robe from the Qing dynasty, the same period.
Yeah, it was
As
feeling
this.
that.
Yeah, and so this is the 9-claw dragon
Mhm.
depicted, and often the allegory of the dragon chasing the flaming pearl can be seen as either power chasing wisdom, or possibly in this case the male chasing the female and her pearl, as it were.
And you're wearing a pearl also.
Yeah.
Mhm. And no shoes.
No shoes.
Is that it's part of the...
Yeah, and so the
You're
prosthetic
free,
foam.
you're not going to have your feet bound.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. They're beautiful.